Okay, everyone, welcome to the weekly review for June 10, 2022. Was a very good week for us on the trade, so I just want to get into it real quick. So before that, let's just pray. God, we just thank you again for another successful week on the charts. We were able to trade, and thank you for the lessons that we have learned to help us to be better. As we go through this review, may somebody watching this video be blessed and improve on their trading experience, we pray. Amen. All right, guys, so just going to share real quick my screen as usual. And we'll just talk about the moves that happened this week. Okay, so those of you who watched the video from last week, the week ahead, will notice that we actually did mention that NAS would continue on that downtrend again. So we're just waiting for the highs to be able to sell. Of course, the reason why we knew that, just a quick review, when we looked at the coming down all the way from the month, we just removed this, we saw that it was still coming down to actually make this low. Now, I will tell you something that I actually saw, which was very important on the charts today, which is worth noting. I'm going to stand on record and saying that I feel that this economy is actually headed for a recession. And the reason why I will say that is that when I look at the monthly chart, I see that the last time we had over 6 months of downward movement on the NASDAQ since its inception was between the period of 2007 to 2008, which is actually right here. And if you remember, that was in fact the area when we had pretty much the last recession. Now, so with that being said, just wanted to point out something that I noticed real quick. Since November of last year, this market has been in a continuous downtrend. Since November 21st of last year, this market has been in a continuous downtrend, and it is continuing. All right. So we saw that, so we knew that what we're waiting on was basically the sell moves. All right. Going down to our weekly, we see a continuation of that, this direct move, higher high all the way down to a low, despite the fact that last week despite the fact that 2 weeks ago you had a strong buy, you saw that that was actually canceled out by the movements of the last 2 weeks. On the day we see here, we're continuing with a high to a low direct move. So next continuation of that is going to be lower high to lower low. That will actually complete this direct structure move that we are accustomed to see. It's going with the trend, and as you can see on the day, the sells are actually the bigger moves. So sell high to low direct move, lower high, lower low. Okay, came straight up, made a high, then all the way down, back again, direct move, lower high. It's here at a higher low, but we're expecting it to continue with the downward push. If you also look at the ADX, you'll see right here that the negative line is actually up above the 25 level. So right away, we know that this market is actually heading straight down for that sell. All right, continuing on with the 4 hour. Again, we saw here, we had a high to a higher low, then a higher high, okay? That actually completed this direct move from about 2 weeks ago, okay? So we had lower low to high direct move, higher low, higher high. That completed it with this overbought candle. And from there, we had another direct move in the other direction, which signal that the market wants to go down, high to low, higher high to low, then lower high. And then this week, we actually are in the process of starting that lower low configuration. So this market definitely is showing signs of continuing down. All right. So with all of that being said, basically, we had that set up, and what we're looking for is basically sell moves in this market. And to do that, we jump to our 1 hour. All right. Now we're just going to look at all of what happened this week and just point out the moves that were there for the taking. So again, when blue lines are the Sundays, and then you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Again, with the AUBER strategy, NAS basically tends to figure itself out towards the beginning of the week. Now, of course, some weeks, like last week, or well, this week in particular, we saw that you actually got a nice sell opportunity right on Monday, the beginning of the week. This first move actually came on Monday at 10 a.m. All right, 10 a.m. it made the highest point. You got in right here. Now, here's the thing. This was a lower high. Okay. All right. This was a lower high. Now, why would you take that trade? And the reason why you would take that trade is that, remember, whenever the market is in trend, the market goes from high to low. Whether it's a segmented or a direct, it goes from high to low. So we already knew right here that the market made a higher low. Okay. So it still needs to make a low. Okay. So what you're looking for now, it came up and it made this lower high. So it broke structure here. The structure was stopped, so it didn't go down and finish the low here. It made a higher low. Then it came up, it made a lower high. So the next natural move to complete this is going to be a low. So this is one of the reasons why this was a valid sell move. Okay. So if you look at this, this is on the 1 hour. What that simply means is that on your 15-minute, which is your time frame down, the next time frame down, you're supposed to see at least a high or a higher high on your 15-minute. Okay. It can either be an overbought high, okay, or it can be a regular higher high or overbought, but not a lower high. Okay. It has to be one up from what you're seeing here. So if we look at our 15-minute for this particular day, you'll see, jumping all the way over here to Monday. Okay. You will see right here. Let me do this here. If you came here, you'll notice that it was actually here at a higher already. Okay. Now, if you looked at your 1 hour, let's look at our 1 hour. 1 hour is here at a lower high also. So you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, fine. Can I take this trade? Absolutely. You can take the trade. You will get some drawdown, but you can take the trade. All right. Now look at what happens. So you came in here because you got the overbought. You have a lower high here, and you look on your 15-minute, and you see that you're here at a higher high. Okay. This is a valid signal. Overbought, it's a valid signal. You can take the trade. Let's look at your 30-minute. Your 30-minute is actually here. It's also at a lower high. Okay. Your 45-minute is also at a lower high, overbought. All right. So everything right here is telling you this is a valid trade that you can take, right? Because you're looking for a lower high to low. All right. Look at how this played out. So let's say you came in right here on this line. All right. Look at how this trade played out. So you go here, it fell, dropped a little bit, then it came back and it came up and it pushed up a little bit, pushed up the lower high a little bit. Okay. All right. Pushed it all the way to here. Okay. Now, if you came in on the line, got how many pips you would have drawn, you've been drawn on. So you came here, and then right here, that's 500 pips. Okay. If you're using a $500 account, that's $50. All right. So, and then after that, look at what happened. Move came down. Remember, you're staying in this move until the low comes on. Okay. All right. Overbought low came on right here. So you would have been probably out of that trade right here, somewhere right about here. So if you came in at the line, that's your first move. Came in at the line, came out at the line right there. That's 2,600 pips. That's your first move of the week. Okay. All right. So that's on Monday. Okay, so you came down, you made a low. Now, after you make the low, remember, it's not a direct move, it's a segmented low. So basically, you're now waiting on another high. Okay, so you're out of this market right here. You're waiting on another high. You're not buying it, you're just waiting for the high. Okay, so this trade went from Monday into Tuesday. Okay, you're waiting. Okay, Wednesday set itself up, came up, it made that high right here on Wednesday. Now let's look at this high. Now, if this is at a high, okay, then you're expecting that your 4-hour is going to be at a lower high. Okay, all right. So watch this now. Your highs are going to correspond with the next biggest time frame. So if your 1 hour is on a high, expect the bigger time frame, which is now going to be the 4-hour, to be on a lower high, and expect the smaller time frame to be on a higher high. Okay, so let's look at this move right here. All right, your 1 hour is now at a high, which means your 4-hour should be on a lower high, and your 15-minute needs to be on a higher high or a high. Okay, so let's look at this. So we come here, let's put this marker right here. So right here, we see there's nothing on for the 1 hour yet. So remember, you're waiting on a high, all right? Because the move needs to finish with a high, all right? So you come here, it's a lower high, so you're not going in on this. But look at what is interesting on your 15-minute. If you look at your 15-minute, you'll see on your 15-minute, it's at a high, okay? So it corresponds with the lower high on the 1 hour. It does correspond with that lower high on the 1 hour. However, remember, you're waiting on a high on your 1 hour. And the reason you're waiting on a high on the 1 hour is that it's coming from a low and it's not a direct move. So you need to wait for that high. So although there's a high on your 15-minute, you're not taking, and a lower high on your 1 hour, you're not taking the trade because you're waiting on a high on your 1 hour. So right now, you're not going into this trade. Okay? All right. Now let's go back to the 1 hour. See what happens here. Remember, we're waiting on a high. Okay? So that's a lower high. So we're still expecting this to push up because it needs to terminate on a high. All right, which is a new high. So it pushed on for a little bit and you're like, oh my goodness, I missed the move. No, you didn't, because it still needs to come up and meet that high. Okay, look at it now. It came and it made a high right here. Now, look what happens on your 4-hour, which is the biggest time frame. On your 4-hour, okay, your 4-hour is now at a lower high. So now everything is corresponding. 4 hours on a lower high, smaller time frame, 1 hour is now on a high. So which means your 15-minute now needs to be at a higher high. Must be at a higher high. Okay. All right. So let's look at the 15-minute. So when you go on your 15-minute, look, you notice right here, your 15 minutes is at a higher high. Now, would I take this trade? Absolutely. So let's say you took this trade right here at this line, right here again. Okay. Look at what happens. Going back to your 1 hour to see how it play out. All right, so you took the trade right here. You got in right there. Candle is finished, you're in. Because everything is now lining up. So you're in that trade. Look at what happens. Boom. Drop right there. Came up, it retested, kept going down. Direct move already. So right away, you know the sell is on. Okay. And it just kept pushing, pushing. Now remember, all right, what you're now waiting on now. It's now interesting. How do you know how to exit out of the trade? So we came in here, so we're really waiting for a low to get out of the trade. However, your bigger time frame, because your bigger time frame was at a lower high, okay? Yes, lower high. You look at your 4 hour. Now, what is the next natural move on the 4 hour? The next natural move on your 4 hour is going to be a lower low. Why? Because it's coming on from a direct move, which is a higher high all the way to a low, then lower high, complete with a lower low. So now, although you got in on your 1 hour and technically you're waiting for your 1 hour to make a low, you'd have shortchanged yourself right there because the bigger time frame still needs to go down to make that lower low. Okay. So you're staying in this trade now until this move right here is finished. It's a lower high going down to a lower low. Let's look how that played out. So you're in the trade, okay? And again, it's Wednesday, so it's a major move, all right? So you're going all the way down, watching, still pushing, doing its consolidation. It came up, made a lower high again, all right? And then now it's coming down to make that lower low, and then the big drop on Thursday, all the way down, all right? Now, here's a couple of things that you could have done. This is if you decided to stay for the entire move. However, if you're going with the strategy from high to low, guess what? You would have exited on your 1 hour low. So let's go back here. So you came in here. Okay, you came in on that high, came down. Okay. Here's your low right there. Okay. But you're watching for it where that move is going to go. Watching to see if it's going to do like an oversold or something. All right. It's pushing down strong. It's wicking out. You're watching to see exactly what's going on. But in the back of your mind, okay, all right, you could have gotten out of this trade right here and then waited for it because it's a direct move, waited for it to actually come up and make a lower high. But the safest part of the trade of this is that if you look at your 4 hour, you'd have seen that the 4 hour came up, okay, and it made a lower high from this direct move. So you know the next natural move is going to be a lower low. Nothing is on your bigger time frame, so no need to worry. You can stay in that trade. Okay? All right. So here we go. So you basically watched it. Look at your 4 hour again. Still nothing came on for your 4 hour. So you know this is a solid move right there. Okay? All right. Now you're at a low. Okay? On your 1 hour. I mean, it pushed down some more. You're at a low. Looking at your 4 hour, still nothing came on for that. So you know the termination move is going to be a lower low. That's one of the reasons why you can stay in that trade with confidence. All right. So going back, watching how this is played out. All right. Then you're saying, oh my goodness, it's going to turn around. The trade is going to turn around. Guys, trust the process. This is a direct move and it's with the trend. The direct move with the trend. So your next natural move is going to be a lower high. So what you could have done is that if you stayed in and it retraced to you because you got such a good entry, right? All you would have done is just enter another trade once you saw that lower high. So if a lower high came on here, guess what? On your 15-minute, this needs to be at a high. So you look at your 15-minute. Boom. Right there, overbought high. You don't need a better signal than that. You're in for the sell. All right. Regardless of what happens, you're in for that sell. It came up and it pushed up and everything like that. You're in for that sell. You're in for that sell. You go back now, you look at your 1 hour, it's now at a lower low. Let's look at your 4 hour. Where's your 4 hour? Still, it only came on with a higher low right here. But remember, it's a direct move, so it's going to end with a lower low. So don't get faked out by this. Don't get concerned about this. It's making lower lows. So again, look at what happened with everything that happens. Right there goes the big drop towards the end of the day. All right, so you're now at a lower low status right here. Okay, and for Friday, more in the making. All right, more in the making for Friday. So this was where our take profit was. Came, blew through that take profit, continued going on Friday. No need to worry because you would have made more than your 5,000 pips already for the week. All right, it just kept dropping. All right, and that's where we're at. That's where we ended the day at. All right, so that was pretty much it for the week. you know, it was a pretty straightforward week. So of course, you know, next week we'll be posting more videos as to what we're expecting to happen, you know, for the week and everything like that. But so far, it's in that downtrend. Let's clean up some of these lines right here. It's in that downtrend that we expect to see continuing. And but we will. I actually had a limit order here, which I had to adjust because I thought the price was going to come back and touch this line right here. It didn't. So, you know, can take that out. All of right here is where I had the potential entry. Saw price coming back, but it didn't. But it fell. It went to our take profit, which was actually set at the minus 27%, based on the fact that the fibs was drawn from this direct move. Higher high to low, retest, lower high, boom, came down to minus 27%, got it, picked up your take profit and continued going down. So we could have set a bigger take profit and everything like that. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, for this week. I'll send out the video again in the group for the analysis for the upcoming week and what we're expecting to see for next week and everything. So oh, just to let us know. So right now, the market, we can actually see that the 4-hour has now broken back in structure. So the 4-hour, we noticed here 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, it actually went from this lower low all the way up to this high. It was a direct move, completed the direct move by a higher low, higher high. That was a full trend move right there. Okay. However, what we saw this week was that it broke back in structure, came down, made a new low. Okay, lower high, lower low. Now it's back in the down structure. All right. So as it stands right now, the market is comfortably going down right now as we speak. So for next week, all I want us to remember, guys, keep it simple, is listen, you know the market is selling. All right. The market is selling. So basically what you're waiting on, you're just waiting on those highs, take those highs and sell them down to the lows. So which means on your 1 hour time frame, just real quick, I know I'm jumping ahead of myself here, but I'll get more into details with this. So right now, you know, the 1 hour is in trend, starting with this direct move right here. Sorry, where is it? Yeah, this direct move right here. High to low, lower high, lower low. First leg of the trend move, lower high, lower low, still in trend. Next thing you're waiting on, lower high, lower low. Okay, or if it comes up and makes a high, okay, how do I know if it's going to come up and make a high? Okay, look at your smaller time frame. Let's look at your 15 minute, for example. Did the 15 minute make a direct high? And if it did make a direct high, then guess what? You know it's a segmented high, so you know it's continuing down and everything. And right now, as we stand, this here, we don't know if it's going to continue down to make that direct move, or if it's going to come back from this higher low and make a high. Okay, and if it does make a high right here, then you know it will be a lower high on your 1 hour and everything. So a number of factors to look at. But your safest bet is to take your highs on your 1 hour and on your 15 minute. Just take your highs and sell them down. Remember, can't stress this enough. If your 1 hour is at a high, there are two things that must happen for you to trade that, take that trade with confidence. If the market is in structure, lower high, lower lows, and your 1 hour makes a high, guess what? Your 4 hour needs to be at a lower high, and your 15 minute needs to be at either an overbought high or a higher high. Okay? The higher high doesn't have to be overbought, but as long as it's at a higher high on the 15 minute, you have a high on your 1 hour and you have a lower high on your 4 hour, you can take that sell with confidence. All right. And then if it's a lower high on the 4 hour, you go down, don't exit until it makes that lower low. All right. All right, guys. So that's pretty much it. We'll talk some more. as the weekend goes on. But congrats again on another successful week. And remember, AUBER strategy, whatever strategy you use, consistency is the key, and we'll just continue. So God, thank you again for another successful week. We ask that you'll just be with us as we learn, and we just continue to grow, continue to just help us to just be the best version of ourselves and to be the best traders that we know. Thank you, we pray. Amen. All right, guys, have a good weekend. Take care.